you're a betting man, come the month of August when the season kicks off, will Kylian Mbappe be wearing a Paris Saint-Germain shirt?
Well, on the evidence of what's been happening in sport over the last week, anything is possible. I guess the difficulty for Mbappe right now is that Real Madrid, which did seem like the most likely outcome, they've just signed Jude Bellingham, probably anticipating that Mbappe wouldn't leave until next summer. So quite whether Real Madrid would have the money available to buy him is an important question. I think also we've got others out there in the market. We've got Manchester United that is currently subject to a takeover bid from two parties, one of which is Qatari. They may be looking for a trophy asset, a brand new signing. There's Liverpool too, although they typically don't spend huge amounts of money on players. So it could well be the case of it, even if Mbappe does want to leave. Where will be his destination? Because I think there are very few options, given his salary and the transfer fee. There are very few options out there for him.
When Qatar bought Paris Saint-Germain, it was this sort of groundswell moment for French football. The club has dominated the domestic championship the last few years. Now they've had their World Cup. Is that era drawing to a close?
You've got to keep in mind that there are essentially two dates that are important. 2011, when Qatar Sports Investments bought Paris Saint-Germain and began their investment program. But 2017, when they signed not just Mbappe, but Neymar too. Neymar, the transfer fee broke the world record. In fact, more than doubled the world record transfer fee. And at that time, there was a political feud taking place in the Gulf region. These were seen as being signings that were making a statement to Qatar's adversaries and foes, and those times have now gone away. As you say, the World Cup has dissipated. What does seem to be happening in Qatar right now is almost this spirit of economic realism starting to pervade, because here is a country that has spent hundreds of billions of dollars on football over the last 10, 12 years. And now they're having to sweat their assets. They're having to make them work, be commercially lucrative, achieve some kind of return on investment. And it may well ultimately be that they have to change the business model at Paris Saint-Germain. There is talk of them focusing on the development of local talent rather than acquiring expensive overseas talent. So I think this is a club in a state of flux right now. Of course, we still got to know we still to find out who the coach will be at Paris Saint-Germain next season, and this could well have an impact on Mbappe's future as well.
Yeah, several key players as well, like you say. As a vacancy in the coaching position, and that has raised the anxiety level among supporters. Earlier, we went out and spoke to a few. Let's take a listen.
From what he says, the love he has for PSG, he could have stayed a bit longer. If you look at Messi, how long did he stay at Barca? How long did Benzema stay at Real? Great players stay a long time at their great clubs. People say Paris isn't a big club. They only talk about Real. Now, if we want Paris to become a big club, we also need players to stay longer.
We're talking about the best player in the world at the moment, so it's normal that people are talking about it. But I have no doubt that he'll stay, as he does every year. All good things take time. We're a club with 50 years of history. We're very young. If Mbappe were to leave, it wouldn't be the end. It would be a change, a renewal. But I'm convinced he'll stay, and so will Neymar. We need to rediscover the little duo that used to work. Now that Messi has left, that's a good thing.
PSG will be looking to build around Mbappé. If he leaves, the club will try to build around a coach. There's going to be a new coach. It'll be a new page in the history of Paris Saint-Germain. It would be positive, but it would also be sad for French football, sad for the fans, and sad for the club's image.
Hey, Simon Chadwick, you mentioned how Qatar is interested in Manchester United. Would that mean they would lose interest in French football?
The Qataris are in the process, I believe, of looking at multiple investments across world football, and there is a precedent for this already. We have Abu Dhabi-owned City Football Group, of course, owners of Manchester City, winners of the Champions League at the weekend. So Qatar may well look to replicate that model. So it could be that what we have is we have Qatari clubs in England and in France at the same time. There are Qatari clubs already in Belgium and Spain, albeit on a different set of owners. So this is definitely a model that is increasingly popular and being deployed. not just by Arab states, but also by US private equity investors too across the world. So it's not entirely clear that the Qataris would walk away from Paris. I don't think they would. But as I said, I think what they're going to do is they're going to make their assets work much, much harder for them and help them to achieve whatever it is their objectives are.
You're making the argument for selling Mbappe now.
There is no doubt that Mbappe is very important to the club. He's very important to the city. He's very important to the country. We've seen in the recent past President Macron calling out for Mbappe not to leave. So there will be considerable pressure on Mbappe from various quarters in France. And so this is not an easy decision for him to make. Clearly he wants to progress and do well and earn lots of money and win European trophies. And maybe he feels he can do that in Paris, but maybe he feels he has to go somewhere like Madrid or Manchester. But at the same time, there will be other pressures upon him too. Certainly political pressure, as I said, with Macron, but also commercial pressure as well. Mbappe generates a lot of money for example, sportswear brands and for the commercial partners he's associated with. And it's an inconvenient truth, I think, for fans to know that sometimes those commercial pressures are also a significant determinant of where people move to, where players move to.
No rest during the off-season as we watch this saga. Simon Chadwick, many thanks for joining us from Coventry.
Thank you.